Sergers are not necessary for sewing, but they sure do help. It's the machine that stitches and finishes in one. It has multi-needles and threads that form loops and cast over the fabric edge to prevent both unraveling and fraying. We have technical designer Gabby Brown joining us in the Stitch Lab today, so I'm so excited to get working on our Sergers.
Hi, I'm Amanda Carestio.
I'm Kate Zeinard.
And I'm Meg Healy.
We are the hosts of the Sew and Tell podcast, and we are very excited to start a new series for you called Stitch Lab. In each episode, we are going to cover essential techniques and present inspiring experiments.
I need to put my safety glasses on for this experiment.
Aha.
Oh, great! Wonderful! That was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be.
Wow.
Welcome to Stitch Lab.
I'm so excited to welcome Gabby Brown in the studio with Amanda. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Meg. I'm so excited to be here today.
Yes, and can you just briefly tell us a little bit about yourself and your history and experience with sewing?
Yeah, absolutely. So my background is in ready-to-wear apparel manufacturing with a focus on fit and garment production. I have recently dipped my fingers back into home sewing in the last couple of years. I used to a long time ago, and now it's all like coming back.
Yes, and you look so natural standing behind the serger, which we are going to talk about today. So, one-word answers. What do you use your serger most for? Sewing knits together or finishing woven fabric edges?
I'm going to go with both. Is that allowed?
I don't know.
I do a lot of both. I spend a lot of quality time with my serger.
That's awesome. I use it for finishing wovens, and it sometimes touches a knit.
How about you, Meg?
Yes, I sew all knits all day, every day.
So I think that there comes a point in the sewist journey when you start to think if you actually need a serger. I think the answer is yes, but we can talk about it a little bit. Within the industry, there's an understanding that the serger is kind of your microwave and your conventional sewing machine is your oven. So you need a microwave. It helps you get things done really quickly, really efficiently, but you're still going to need your conventional sewing machine to do some of those finishing steps and for some of those just more involved construction processes. So serger is your microwave. Conventional sewing machine is your oven. Well, I don't know what your grill is, but we need to fill out the metaphor a little. I know, because that's my specialty.
Is that not the iron?
Maybe it's the iron. It is hot. If you're a home sewist and you're looking for that really professional finish that you see in ready-to-wear, you're going to want a serger. I've got a couple samples here just to kind of look at quickly of some store-bought items. I don't actually have that many in my wardrobe anymore, but I found these, and you can kind of see how the serger is being used to sew these seams and finish this hem. I've got a woven shirt here. It's always fun to take a close look at ready-to-wear, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Just to see how they do it. I guess you know a lot about this part of the process.
I know a lot about it, and I can critique it very well.
What do you think about this one?
Let's see here. I don't know. These loopers are looking kind of janky
a little
over
bit
here.
loose,
Yeah.
right.
I don't know that I would accept this for production.
Well, at any rate, it's really interesting to see how they have used the serger in some ready-to-wear samples. And I've got a couple samples here, too, that can show you how it's useful if you're working with a woven, especially one that ravels a lot. We've got just an unfinished edge here. This is just going to shred when you wash it. You've got some options on your conventional sewing machine to finish those edges. I've got a zigzag finish here, but it's a little bit stiff, and you can see that it's raveling a little bit through those stitches still.
Yeah, this is kind of my default, and I also don't really like this.
Yeah, I don't love it. It softens up when you wash it, but it's not my favorite. And then, of course, we've got the serged edge, which is super nice on both sides. It has that professional finish to it. I love it. But finishing edges is really only one of the things that you can do with a serger. You can do so much with this machine, including sewing seams. So why don't you walk us through that process, Meg?
So So since knit fabrics stretch, so do the stitches, and the 4 threads in a serger all loop together to make the seam stretchy and not pop. But the edges do unravel a little bit. It's really easy to sew a seam, but I'm just gonna quickly demo how you actually secure the start and end of a serging seam.
Awesome.
Cool.
So I just like to lift up my foot with the needles down, and then I also make sure I have a long thread tail, and I stitch a little bit, a couple seconds there, then make sure my needle's in my fabric. I lift my foot, I take my serging tail and pull it out, and then I wrap it around under my foot, and I lower my foot and serge that right in the seam. And sometimes you can even just tail off in the middle of a seam. You can also just take the serging tail and wrap it onto the seam and then just zigzag or straight stitch it on your regular machine.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. So you can see that nice wrap in there. And if you don't pull as hard, you won't get this little fold in the fabric, but it's stretchy, so it'll all nicely stretch and not unravel.
And it's
Love
so
it.
much faster than the 3-step zigzag.
Absolutely. And you can also use a serger for a variety of decorative finishes, right?
Oh yeah, you can use it as an exposed seam. I have this lovely top that has this kind of bustier style and princess seams, and the serging actually is on the right side, and you can use contrasting threads and so many different things because it finishes the knits and sews it.
I love that so much.
That's super cute. I noticed it's doing a little lettucey thing.
Yes.
Are you doing that with the tension?
Yes, with a lighter weight knit, if you stretch it slightly as you stitch it, you'll get a little lettuce effect. And I just used it around the hem edges too.
Super cute.
All right, should we try and do some experiments with our sergers? Because we just covered the basics, but there is so much more that you can do.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's get started. One of the things about sergers that is probably most intimidating to people is threading them and then having to rethread them. So, Gabby, you're going to walk us through this process.
I'm going to try to walk you through this process. So, first things first, I am really bad with tweezers, but I heard there's a method called the tie-on method, where you basically take your cones and then re-tie them into the new color and drag it through without having to thread the whole thing. I'm going to start it off, and then I'm going to ask Amanda for a little bit of help. So the very first thing that I'm going to do, obviously, is turn it off.
Really good tip.
Just in case. Always be
I always
safe.
forget that, and my foot's always in the middle too.
Yes, me too. Many close calls.
Oh no. So then I'm going to open her up. I'm going to make sure that the presser foot is up, and then I'm going to turn the tension dials all to 0. This helps make sure that when you're pulling your thread through, it doesn't get caught. If you need to, you might want to write down your tension settings before you start this so you don't forget where you left off.
Good idea.
All right, so I have 0, 0, 0, 0. And then this hopefully is going to be easy, Amanda, so you're going to have to help me. Okay, so I'm going to work my way from the outside in. I'm going to cut this down as close as I can to the bottom of the cone. And I'm just going to switch the color out. I'm going to tie the new thread onto the old thread, and I'm going to try to make the knot as flat as possible. So I'm just going to do like if I'm tying a balloon. You don't have to double knot it. You want it to be as flat as possible, and you can pull it too just to test to make sure that that's okay. And then you'll clip that as close as you can, really. Am I doing this right?
You're doing great.
Okay,
You're
cool.
an expert.
Sweet. Okay, so here's number 2. Pop this one on.
Oh, I hate to see that green thread go.
I'll put that on there for you, Meg.
All right, and this is the last one here.
Looking good.
And so essentially, I'm just pulling them through into the machine, and then this will keep all of those super intense threading doohickeys going. So I'm going to start at the outside and just kind of pull from the very bottom on the inside. Here's 1 through, here's number 2 through.
Nice.
I'm gonna do that, and then I'm going to cut this. So we're not pulling through the thread holes, just through the guides.
You know, I don't usually do that for my needles, but that's really handy because then you don't have to go back in and re-thread them from the start.
Yeah, absolutely. Just make sure you're being very gentle when you're pulling the knots through so they don't catch on anything. And that's really where having your tension set to 0 is gonna make sure that they don't, you know, get destroyed. Okay, so then I'm just gonna cut this off, and then after you're done, you can go ahead and thread your needles in the usual fashion and then pull through your chain stitch and you should be ready to go.
Awesome.
Wow, that wasn't that bad.
No.
You did great.
And in the unfortunate circumstance of a knot coming undone, this serger has a lovely color guide. You open up the opening, it shows you how it's all threaded. So it's not total rocket science. It's totally doable, but this is definitely faster and easier to pull them through this way.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's good to know how to thread the serger from scratch, but this is a nice quick fix method when you're in your studio and you want to get started sewing.
It's 3 in the morning. Maybe you don't want to mess anything
It's
up.
happened. Well, awesome. Next, we are going to jump in and make some super quick headbands.
Okay, Amanda, I'm growing out bangs, so I definitely need a headband, and you promised me that this was the world's fastest headband, so let's see it, and I'm gonna try it too. Have it ready, and I need to put my safety glasses on for this experiment.
Safety first. We've got you covered. This headband does come together very quickly. I'm gonna talk you both through the steps, and then Gabby and I are gonna make one together as a team, and you're gonna make one, and we're gonna see if we can actually put this together in under 2 minutes. And I really think we can. I think we can do it. So the basic process is you're gonna start with a knit, and you're gonna cut your knit to 25 inches by 6 inches wide. If you're using a knit that has a little bit less stretch, you might wanna go a little bit longer, but I think 25 is a good starting place for average head size. The first step is that we are gonna fold these together with right sides together and seam this straight long edge. We're gonna turn it right side out. We're gonna tie a knot in one end. We're gonna seam the 2 edges together with the seam centered on the back of the headband. And then we're gonna unknot and use the knot to cover the seam.
That's so clever.
Yeah.
Wow.
Got it.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, here I go. This is folded hot dog way already. So thank you so much, Amanda.
Yeah.
But you're the folder helper.
I know, we have an advantage. We're a team over here.
All right, I can do it. I got it. This is like the lowest stakes Project Runway, right?
Yes, exactly. Very low stakes.
I wouldn't mind a Tim gun though. Make it work.
Make it work. No, we didn't even need that. We got this.
We got it. All right, and here you are. Let me flip
Okay.
your other side for you.
Okay.
And boom, baby.
All right. This is probably the hardest part.
Okay.
The nice thing about the knit though is you don't need like a formal turner. You can just pull it
Absolutely.
right through.
And as I've shared, I'm not a big fan of turning, but a knit tube, I will turn. All right.
Okay.
How's it going, Meg?
Going good. I almost have it turned. I wish I had
Me
a safety.
too. All right. So I'm gonna center the seam on the back.
Wait, did you not one end?
Well, not one end.
Okay.
So you center the seam first and then you knot. Okay, got it.
And then you're just going to seam across this short end
Ooh,
there.
so easy. All right.
Okay.
Here I go. Oh no!
It's okay, we're gonna cover it anyway.
Oh my god. That made some munching noises.
Yeah, it did. Those layers are pretty thick
Yeah.
through there. So.
It's fine. It's fine. Totally fine.
But look, see, you just cover up that whole seam with this knot.
Oh my god, perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
And now the only people who will ever know I made that mistake are the people watching this right now.
Exactly.
10 seconds left.
Woo!
Look, I'm done.
All right, done. Yay, we did it! How cute is that?
So cute.
And it works in a variety of fabrics. This is just a standard knit, But of course you can do a stretch velvet, any kind of print knit, and you can make a whole collection for summer or for fall.
So now I am going to demo the world's fastest t-shirt that can be sewn all on the serger, and I already have a matching headband to it.
That's awesome.
So cute.
Clip into all of the notches. Serge the shoulder seams together. Open up the top and match the notches from the armhole to the sleeve. First, match the top notch to the shoulder seam, and then work your way around each armhole. Serge the sleeves to each armhole. Match up the notches as you go. Match up the side seams and the sleeve seams, right sides together. Pin the underarm points together and down the side seam. Start serging at the t-shirt hem edge and wrap your tail to secure the seam. And then you end at the sleeve. Serge the short ends of the neckband together. Fold in half, wrong sides together. Clip into the center front and center back neckline notches by halving the piece. So I just match my shoulder seams and clip into the back neckline, and then do the same for the front. Then I match up my neckband seam with the center back and the other half to the center front t-shirt notch. This creates an even stretch for the neckband. Serge around. Slightly stretch just the neckband as you serge. Repeat the process for the armbands. Serge the short ends together, fold in half, and then serge around the sleeve hem opening. Match the band seam with the sleeve seam. And there you have it, a full t-shirt complete with armbands and a neckband and an unfinished hem with secured serging stitch on the side seam. All completely sewn on the serger.
That was so fun to watch. I think I've got my preferred way to sew a t-shirt, but I always learn something when I watch someone else sew.
Oh, absolutely. I can't even believe that she didn't even need a sewing machine for that. That's amazing.
Pretty awesome.
So unfortunately, now we have to say goodbye to Gabby. It was so much fun having you in the lab and doing all of our experiments. I learned so much, and thank you for joining us.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
This was fun.
This was really great. Thanks so much for having me in the lab.
Absolutely.
So now let's discuss our findings, because I know I found my new favorite headband. Look at how cute it is.
I know, we're so cute.
Yeah, and I love how you are wearing your knot in the back and you can wear it in the front too. So cute.
So yeah, I think sergers are definitely worth it. I think if you're gonna sew a lot of garments, they really come in handy. If you're gonna sew a lot of knits, you want a serger.
And making knee-maids, they last longer if you do serge the edges. It really does prevent that wear and tear and fray.
And they're faster to make. Don't forget that part.
That is true.
Well, this is fun. I learned a lot in this episode of Stitch Lab.
Me too. I thought I knew everything about sergers and I still learned something. So join us next time in the Stitch Lab, where we experiment with another sewing technique.